So hi, and today I am not here to teach. I am here to study for myself, and I want to concentrate basically. So I divert a lot, not with other distractions, but I just go deeper and I get stuck in the same loop. So I just want to concentrate for myself and not go deeper and lengthy in a particular topic and stuck there. So I'll just start with the thing and you can join me in my study. So let's start the video. I don't want to make it lengthier. I just want to study, which is required. Start. So here I'm studying for from GFG. I know it's deep, but I'll just try to go through the topics. I don't want anything to be left out and feel like I don't know this or I haven't heard about this. So whatever is there, I just want to see. That's all. So what today I'm thinking to study Spring Boot. So when I opened GFG Spring Boot tutorial, these were the topics. So first introduction, the comparisons, then Spring Core, Spring Boot features with REST API, then data GPA, and advanced features, microservices, Kafka, and AOP, and testing. Spring security is not there because that is Spring Boot. I am not very aware of Spring Boot. I just have basic knowledge of Java and Spring Boot, like why we use and basic CRUD maybe. But for a higher level, I have to study, right? So let's go. Let's go. Not so deep. Firstly, introduction. Should I start introduction? Okay, let's see. Please keep me in pace, in correct path. So Spring is one of the most popular frameworks for building enterprises, but traditional projects require heavy XML, making them Spring Boot solves the ready-to-use programming. It eliminates boilerplate code and this. So yeah, Spring framework uses XML configuration. Spring Boot is which is on top of Spring framework. It doesn't need to have that. It has auto configuration. Fine. Next, Spring Boot is built on top of the conventional Spring framework, providing all the features of the Spring. Auto configuration is one thing. Automatically configures components like Hibernate GPA based on the dependence. No need for XML setup. Correct. Easily maintenance and creation of REST endpoints. So for a controller, we have REST controller annotation, and for get mapping, for get we use get, and post we use post mapping. Creating REST points for is straightforward. Okay. Embedded Tomcat server. So it has a built-in Tomcat. Embedded server. Spring Boot includes an embedded Tomcat server, eliminating the need for manual setup. Okay. Easy deployment. Spring Boot applications can be packaged as jar or WAR files and deployed directly to the server. Okay. By 2025, it offers seamless integration with KubeVirt and .NET and easier cloud native deployment for scaling. Okay. Then Microsoft. Why is this one like this? Okay. Microservice based architecture. Spring Boot is well suited for microservice architecture, where applications are split into independent modular services. Microservices is basically where we separate all the services, maybe for example payment service or chat service, where we separate each things and we can independently work on them, which is loosely coupling. Okay. Unlike monolithic architecture, this improves scalability and maintainability. So Spring provides microservice based architecture. Then evolution, I don't think so. I want it. Applications of Spring Boot. Then enterprise level applications to build hospital banking systems. Okay, cloud native applications. Integration with Docker, Kubernetes, real-time applications. Okay, chat, streaming platform, batch processing applications with Spring Batch. Spring Boot is utilized for extract, transform, load. Okay, I heard this in data engineering, I guess. Extract, transform, local, load. Okay. Spring Boot architecture. What's the architecture of this? We have client layer, controller layer. Okay, client layer is this is the external layer. Fine. Controller layer handles incoming HTTP requests from the client. Whatever it gets from the client, this handles the request, process the request, and sends a response. Okay, this is the function which we write for APIs. It gets the request and sends the response. Delegates business logic process to the service layer. Okay, whatever logic. We call it here the get or post API in the controller. From service layer, we actually write the logic which comes from repository layer, which comes fine. Then processing the request, sends a response, delegates business logic. Okay, next. A service layer contains the actual business logic, communicates with repository layer to fetch the data of fetch or updated. Cool. Uses dependency injection to get required representations. Fine. Repository layer handles CRUD operations on the database, extends Spring Data JPA or other persistent mechanisms. Yeah. Okay. Basically, repository layer is the one that is connected to the database, right? It handles operations of database. Okay. Then entity layer represent database entities and domain models, maps to tables in the database using JPA. What's the difference between repository and this? Then actual database that stores application data. Spring Boot interact with this. So this is which that stores the actual data, and model layer and entity layer. I get stuck like this. Let's ask ChatGPT. What's exact difference between these three layers? Okay, very briefly. Brief way, and take a small example. Okay, let's see what it gives. Got it. Okay, they're telling model layer. It defines the structure of the data. Okay. Maps Java objects. Repository layer talks to the database, performs CRUD operations. Database layer has a real physical storage tables and rows. Oh, how they connect? Service layer, repository layer, model layer, database. First the repository, then the model, then this. Then you should tell this right then. Okay. User find email. This extends API repository, user find email, save, fetches, updates. Find by all these are actually part of JPA repository, so we get them. Fine. And model layer defines structure of the data. Okay, model layer is what that maps object to tables. Basically ORM. Okay, entity. Oh, here we are telling user. Which is what thing, and we are calling it entity table. Fine. Then database layer, it creates where data is actually stored. Create table, all this. So do we define this? I don't think so. It automatically creates. Got it. Okay. Well, MySQL create table. This is SQL code. Fine. Okay. Let's go back. Then extend GP or other persistent mechanism. Fine. Actual database that source. Then client, controller, service, repository, database, and response. Okay. Client makes a request HTTP. Then the request is handled by a controller. It's business logic here. The service here processes the logic and it interacts with the repository layer and retrieve the modified data. The data is mapped with using JPA with a corresponding model and entity. Okay, using JPA data. The response is sent back to the client if using Spring MVC with JSP. A JSP page may be returned as the response. I don't know what is a JSP. What is JSP? Give one answer. I have no time. Java service page is a server-side technology used to create dynamic web pages by embedding Java code into HTML. Okay, Java service page it is basically. Oh, okay. If using a MVC with JSP, that may be returned. Fine. We took so much time for introduction. Next, Spring versus Spring Boot. Should we? Okay. Spring. Oh my god, why is so big? I'll just see the table. Best. Spring. Spring is an open source lightweight framework. Spring Boot is built on top, widely used for SPAPs. The most important feature of Spring framework is dependency injection. Yes. And this is auto configuration. Okay, it helps creatively loosely couple application. It helps in standalone applications. Okay, standalone applications, single page or anything. Okay. To run Spring applications, we need to set the server explicitly. In this, we have Tomcat. To run Spring applications in deployment, descriptor is required. There is no deployment descriptor. What is deployment descriptor? Okay, to create Spring application, the developers write a lot of code. It reduces line of code. It provides support for in-memory. It provides support for in-memory databases such as... It doesn't. Okay. Oh, Spring doesn't provide. So H2 you can't use in Spring. Developers need to write boilerplate. Of course, developers have to define dependency or pom.xml you have to define. Pom.xml is the and it's the required dependency. Here manual you have to. Okay, fine. Spring MVC also. Why so many comparisons? I don't want it. Spring MVC, MVC is model view controller. Okay, and you have front controller too. I'm going with the table. Should I? First we'll see the table. If I don't understand, we'll go there. Spring MVC is a model view and controller based web framework widely used to develop web applications. Okay. It's built on top conventional framework. This I know. If we are using Spring MVC, we need to build the configuration manually. Okay. If we are using it, is not okay. If the MVC, what is this deploy descriptor? Specify each dependency separately. Okay, Spring MVC framework consists of model view component. It takes more time to deploy. But Spring MVC do not provide powerful batch processing. What is this? Spring and Spring MVC different. For web applications, we use MVC obviously. The model view controller model. View is the HTML pages that we do. Model is objects like. If it is a product image, description, all that we do in a model. Controller is where we write functions, that's all right. Spring is usually used to create applications for web applications. So Spring MVC framework is used, which is used to create scalable web applications. What is this? Okay, model view controller object. A view is used for displaying. Spring supports various technologies. Free markup velocity theme leaf. Oh, I don't know. Model is a collection of objects which basically contain a data application. It contains the logical part. Yes. Notation. Front controller. It remains responsible for managing the flow of the web application. Dispatcher servlet acts as a front controller. Dispatcher servlet and deployment something like deployment descriptor. Should we see? It is taking time. There is dispatcher servlet and what is this? Deployment descriptor. What are these? One line answers only. GPT dispatcher servlet, the central controller in MVC that receives all HTTP requests and routes them to. Yeah. There is a friend controller that routes things to the other controllers. So it will be a main thing that okay. Fine. All controllers will be controlled with this friend controller and the request will be sent to all this. Deployment descriptor, an XML file. Okay. That configures a web applications defining servlets, mapping and startup settings. Hi, lift. Next. Run your Spring Boot application. Now create this setup we can do. We'll go to concepts. Okay, finally we started after 14 minutes. Next, inversion of control. Yeah. So inversion of control is the theory, we can think, or protocol, rule, and dependency injections implementation, isn't it? Okay, what they say here. Is it inversion of control? Okay, inversion of control. IOC container, yes. Spring IOC container is the core of the Spring framework. It creates, manages objects that are beans, injects dependencies, and manages their life cycle. It uses dependency injection based on the configuration from XML files, Java-based configuration, annotations, or POJOs. Since the container, not the developer, controls the object creating, wiring, and it's called inversion control. So basically, we are giving the control to the container, some external framework or object, instead of we handling the object life cycle. That's all right. Yes, I feel there are two types of container: bean factory and application context. Don't we extend both of these? Okay, let's see. Bean factory is the most basic version of it. So this is the main class you get, and it provides basic support for dependency injection and bean lifetime cycle. Okay, it is suitable for lightweight applications where advanced feature are not fine. The applications contact an extension of bean with more enterprise features like event propagation, internationalization, and more. It is preferred choice for most Spring applications with advanced. And what is event propagation and internationalization? Explain briefly. For example, very brief. I have to specify twice. Event propagation, the order in which event move through the DOM. Oh, DOM structure, how it provides. Capturing, target, bubbling. Clicking on a button inside a div triggers the button click first, then the div click, that is bubbling. Okay. Internationalization. Making an application support multiple languages. Okay, this is so cool. The order in which events move through the DOM. First, okay, button is click first button, then this event propagation, how it goes through the DOM. Okay. So these features are added in application context. Cool. Fine. Then it is a preferred choice for Spring applications due to fine. The key features of IOC are listed: dependency injection, of course, automatic injection, dependent on the class, lifecycle management, manages lifecycle of beans. Isn't it the same? Configuration flexibility supports both XML based and annotation based configuration. Yeah, XML means we do in Spring framework, annotations using boot if you do component and something. Okay, loose coupling promotes loose coupling by decoupling implementation. No, loose coupling, understanding IOC with a practical example. Creating a SIM interface. SIM. Now understand what is IOC in Spring. Suppose we have one interface name. Okay, we have an interface named Spring, and we initialize to calling and data. Okay, implementation of SIM. So we extend. Okay, we took it a class and extended it, implemented it here. Calling we did here, and data. Okay, fine. We did same in Geo also. Fine. Calling methods without Spring. Okay, now this is in which. Okay, we took another class and we created mobile, and we want to call Geo. So we have to create an object, instance of the object. So sim new Geo. New we have used and Geo we have created. Okay, fine. It's type of sim. Yes. Fine. Then we call both. Now this is type clickable. Fine. If you want to switch title, we need to modify the source code. Again, we have to create it using IOC with XML. Yeah, XML. What we do first, we create XML configuration to define the beans. This is directly we get from the website. We can do this. Now bean we have to add the particular class. So ID will be the same, whatever class we are doing, and class is Geo. Okay, ID we have given sim. Class is Geo. Okay. We give Geo class. Now directly in this bean we define by giving unique ID, which later will be used. Then here, hey, I didn't use this. Run the code. In the mobile class, we use the application contact. Okay, application context we used. From application context, class path application context, and beans.html. So this used to implement that. Okay, beans.xml is that what we defined. Then from application context we get the bean using the id, and sim.class we call the method of this class. Then sim.calling this. Okay, instead of creating object we used xml configuration and got the bean. Next, implementation, application context, get bean. What is this? And now you want to use Airtel. Airtel means Airtel bean you have to create, and beans, get beans. See. Okay, they use same ID for Airtel also. Fine. Next, using Java based configuration. What is this now? Modern Spring applications use Java based configuration instead of XML. Let's see. Okay, create a configuration class, app configuration, use the bean annotation. Change to new item to switch. Okay, so what do? Annotation configuration application context. Instead of XML, class path XML application context, we are using annotation config application context and app config of class. We define class and sim. See, the process is same, but instead of using in XML, we are using Java. Configuration annotation, app configuration, and the bean. Okay, this will be like this. We have to add beans. Bean sim create new geo. Okay, create new geo. We are doing the same here. Creating an object. Fine. To switch to Airtel, we have to create Airtel bean. Fine. Using annotations in dependence injection. Fine. What annotations? Spring Boot directly does that, right? Fine. Likely if we give component. When will they tell that? Spring also supports annotation based configuration which is used. Let's update the example using annotations. Okay. Configuration component scan annotation to configure class to enable component scanning. Configuration computer scan base package equal to com.xml base package video component scan app configuration and same thing. This is we have to give component. Yes. Oh, this is one method. Enable component scan. Add component class annotation to configure the class to enable component scanning. I know these Octowire and this one. This is something new. Fine. Configuration component scan. Then we use component, whatever thing we are doing. Class we just give component and that will be available. Then inject using Octowire. Yes, here we Octowire the thing, and automatically whatever we are giving we use Octowire, and the object of that will be configured here. So this app config that you used here. So this is all one thing. Configuration component scan, all this app config you have to do, and application context annotation configuring application of this, and they got bean. Okay, find the no unique bean definition. When we run the Apex, spring throw error, no unique. Okay, because we gave component for both of them, we don't know what to prioritize, right? Make one of the bean as primary, and this is because both are extending sim, and we are directly calling that and use sim, which use sim. Okay, use sim is calling and data methods, which both has. We are not specifying which is, right? In the configuration, actually when we are doing the configuration, we tell the beans. Okay, when giving configuration, we can either give for which we use this, or directly can take. Wait. So primary means this will take if both has same extended class and methods and you're not giving in the object, then you tell primary take this, Airtel will be prioritized, or you can use qualifier, so directly it is geo or whatever you can tell explicitly. Then explicitly name using this, isn't it the same? Okay, while giving component you can give different names, fine. Then in the mobile class use the explicit name. Okay, that's all, fine. Okay. Then this is done, fine. Next, dependency injection again. PM factory application context. I thought all these are done. Why? I complain a lot, right? Spring dependency injection with example. Why is this? I wanted to write something, but I didn't get anything to write. Hi. Oh, sorry. I can do better than this. Hi, friends. Okay, let's start. Dependency injection is fundamental that allows objects to receive dependencies from external sources. Yes, dependency you get from external sources, then creating them internally eliminates the need for classes to create their own dependency. Especially for objects, you don't have to create the object and maintain the life cycle of it, which we saw in IOC. Supports constructor setter field injections, all the injection type, works with XML annotation and Java based. Why dependency injection is needed? Which is directly coupled to reduce testability, poor maintain without dependency injection, right? These are several problems that were faced. Reduced testability, poor maintainability, okay, lack of flexibility and reusability, centralized object management. Okay, types of dependency. First is setter injection. Okay, involves injecting via setter methods to configure AutoWire we have to use. So this is the main package of the class, and this is a private object. AutoWire, we are using public setGeek list.geek. Okay, fine. Wait, where are we getting that from? Oh, they didn't give any geek class. So if that is there, to get that here, we directly do use setter function. Okay. Property, here we added geek, name geek, references. What is this? SVG SCS? What is CSV GFG? This injects CFG GFG being into GFG objects using setter method. Okay. Fine. Constructor injection, directly using constructor, you create a class and further directly object constructor. Okay, same. Constructor argues, yes. Same give CFGFG. So which class? There shouldn't there be two classes. Setter method can build up a property geek with AutoWire. Okay, fine. Then setter and constructor. There are differences for these two also. Creates mutable objects. Dependencies can be modified after creation. Creates immutable objects. Dependencies can't modify. Dependencies can be injected later, or the dependencies. Of course, when you call constructor, you have to. And requires additional this. This is not required. Oh yeah, here AutoWire we use. Here we don't. Fine. It results in a circular dependency or partial dependency. It too can have this, but it just fails and more explicitly. Requires framework or manual setter calls. Requires verification. This is not one. Steps to create dependency. Spring dependency injection project. Why? Why do you want to do project for dependency injection? Create interfaces and implement the interface here. Toyota vehicle. So Engine you have created an interface and you implemented it somewhere. In vehicle you want to now call what? Okay, you want to use this engine. So you do constructor injection, setter injection. See, just they have to mention the thing. Here directly for this object you have injected the object of the class, then directly engine dot this start you can use. Yes, so basically we are creating object of this interface there using constructor and setter. In constructor directly we call the same class and inject here, and setter also it's the same, we use setter function and do the same. So engine dot start and vehicle is moving, that's all. And vehicle constructor being engine, first engine is this one. Okay, this is for setter and this is for no, this is for setter and this is for constructor dependence injection, and this is the engine B. Engine B is that this thing, right? Implemented one. Me. So first you have to give implemented bean, then if you are using constructor injection we have to give ID unique ID for both, and class is vehicle, as vehicle, reference equal to engine. Set it. Okay, so write main class to test DA. So this is using XML configuration. This is using fine. Then application context you got using XML configuration. Vehicle bean, you got the bean which you typecasted to vehicle. Okay, same object. Context get bean, vehicle constructor, and setter also does the same. Run the project, save all. Okay, first what will happen? You created object. Oh, vehicle you called it here. Vehicle we are doing the injection. It is like the design patterns where we isolate this client and this, what is this? Okay, where we isolate the business logic and the client basically. So this vehicle we use where we whatever we pass that can be called here. Basically dependency injection is done here, and here we are calling vehicle, and we got the context, and if it is vehicle constructor, using constructor it calls this, right? And first what will happen, vehicle is moving, and what is this? Toyota engine started. Where is this Toyota engine started? Okay, this one. Yeah. Okay, first they called engine dot start, which is Toyota engine started, then vehicle is moving, then again with this also Toyota is started and vehicle is moving, that's all, etc. also. Fine, it's clear. This is a project. Hey, I have done a project. I have seen a project. Fine then. Okay. Done. Yes, this is done. Let's take a short break. I need to drink water.